you doing, everybody? It's Joe here from Living to Learn. It's a horrible day. It's currently raining in Dublin at the moment, so rather poignant when I'm going to talk about water purification. I'm dealing with wind and rain, cats and dogs, and strangely enough, seagulls, which is a new one for me. So bear with me while we try and get through this. The things I'm going to talk about today are the current methods that I use for water purification. The reason why I say current methods is over the past 2 years, when I originally shot my water purification video for the Living to Learn YouTube channel, is that there's been some changes, not just in my own methods, but in the science behind water purification. They've only been small changes, but changes nonetheless. And after 2 years of having more experience, more time out in the woods, talking to more experienced guys and writing reductionism, it has really made me focus on what water purification is in regards to my setup. So what you see behind me here is all I would carry for water purification on all those types of trips. The first change that came when I talked about the small changes was 2 studies, one done by a German institute and one done by a Scandinavian institute that was sent to me by Robin Tucker. And what it looked at was how water behaved when it flowed through sediment, things like sphagnum, moss, peat, muck, soil, gravel. And what they found was that the chemical composition of the water changed for the worse, as in it picked up pathogens and stuff from below the soil when it came out the far side into these rivers. So I started looking, and this was originally sent to me, I may add, I'm not speaking from a high horse, after Robin had seen me teach a class on the large sediment filters that you would see in bushcraft and survival manuals that I would have prescribed to back then, where you've got your layers of cloth and shemag, and you've got charcoal and sand and gravel and grass to remove all these sediments and particulates. But once I started looking at it, I realized, kind of like in a horror movie, that no matter what you do in the run up, you're going to boil, or you're going to use a chemical method, or you're going to use a mechanical method. So all of this in the peripheries was kind of redundant. It was kind of like a horror movie, where people say, oh, how do you kill a werewolf? Well, you shoot it with a silver bullet, and then you chop off its head. Alright, well, how do you kill a vampire? Well, you find its coffin, you stake it in the heart, you throw some garlic on it, and then you cut off its head. At the end of the day, cutting off its head is going to kill absolutely anything anyway. And it's the same with water purification. No matter what you do, whether you use a sediment filter, whether you use a shemag, your sock, your hat, something contrivance you've built out of bamboo and plastic bottles, you're going to boil your water. So I started looking into it more, and once you boil your water between 5 to 8 minutes on a rolling boil, you're basically good to go. So I started trimming back all this stuff in my kit that didn't need to be anywhere, and I'm refining it down to what I have here. When it comes to water purification, whether chemical, mechanical or boiling, vessels is the key. Containers, vessels. You don't need to go overboard. You know, the average human only needs, we say 3, if it's an exhaustive day, 4 litres of water to kind of stay hydrated, and you can alleviate that with things like oral rehydration salts. So the first thing that I carry is a 1 litre stainless steel single walled bottle. By single walled, I mean that it's not insulated, it's not a thermos, it's just a single walled. I prefer mine to be round because the quart canteens are very difficult to fit into various hiking bags and pouches and stuff, and you've got to buy very specific pieces of kit for them. Whereas a round one, whether it be this one or a stainless steel Nalgene or a clean canteen, will do the job. The reason why I say 1 litre is because if something should go awry outside and you know things are getting a bit uncomfortable, you want to think less, especially when it comes to water purification. The quart canteens, or the military kidney canteens, are a bit of an odd measurement. They're 1 litre and a bit, or maybe a bit less. But whereas 1 litre, there's no second guessing. You know when this is full, it's exactly 1 litre. So when you fill this up, you consume it. You consume 1 litre, consume 3 of these, you're good to go for the day in regards to your hydration. You also know that once you filter your water, remove the heavy sediments out of it, regardless of what method you use. I use a brown bag, which you see flattened around there. Whatever method you use, if you throw your chemical tablets into it, all chemical purification methods work with exactly 1 litre of water. So again, you're not having to think when you're outside. 1 litre, single walled, stainless steel. This also affects boiling because it's single walled, and once you remove your sediments again through any method that you choose, you can boil your 1 litre of water in this in a very quick amount of time with a bit of practice, and you know you're good to go. Now people say to me, Joe, I see you carry 2 bottles, why don't you carry 2 stainless steel bottles? because they see me carrying these. And the reason why I carry two different ones, firstly, was because on an extended 3-week trip about 3 years ago, an awful lot of guys had the same amount of kit, and bottles got confused. I had one Pathfinder bottle with dirty water and another Pathfinder bottle with clean water. After going through the chores of the outdoors and getting tired over the course of the day, I forgot which one had the clean water in it and which one had the dirty water in it. And this kept happening to the guys on the trip, being tired from hiking and stuff like that. You would genuinely forget. So I decided to swap it out and carry a plastic one. And I'm glad I did. It was a happy accident. Because the reason why I like the plastic ones is because they've got graduated marks on it. None of the stainless steel stuff I have has graduated marks, and I'm sure there is stuff out there. But the reason why I like this has graduated marks is, one, it helps with cooking food and dehydrated meals. But I said earlier on in the video, talking about diorite and oral rehydration salts, which I recommend everybody to carry, they work with a very specific amount of water, 250 milliliters to be exact, which would be about 8 ounces. So this gives me my clear graduation marks, and they're a tough old bottle. This is nearly 3 years old, and you can see. So again, no second guessing. I could fill this up with my clean water to 250 ml, put in a rehydration salt, and drink away. You can also get special attachments to these lids that you can keep your rehydration salts in and water purification methods, so you got a water purification system in one bottle. It might not be stainless steel, but if you're using chemical methods, you can twist open the secondary lid, put your chemical tablet into 1 liter of water. Other than that, I carry this. This is a brown bag by Rupert Brown's a new one, or a millbag bag as they're sometimes called in the surplus world. These are absolutely fantastic piece of kit that I found about 4 years ago when I was struggling away with my life straw, trying to suck out of a pot and stuff like that. I seen a gentleman who was on a canoe with me, or in a canoe with me on a canoe trip. He just stuck this large sock up and left his pot underneath it and went about his business getting his bed ready and stuff, and I thought it was absolutely genius. And this is what it is here, and I ain't looked back. These are very cheap, and they pack down into nothing. These are always in my bags, and I do forget to show them because I just leave them sitting in the bottom of my bag and I don't think about it. But when it comes to removing sediment, and so if you have the means to affect fire or chemical means, when it comes to removing sediment, these are absolutely fantastic. You just soak these in a river, fill it up with water to this line here, and when you hang it in a tree, it hangs at a cant, and the water will drain out here. When the water drains below this level, you're good to go. Sediment is removed. And again, like I said, you always boil. But this stops you wetting your shemags, wetting your socks, wetting your hats. I know that it's a great last-ditch effort, and in fact I have done it. I've purified water through my hat, subsequently burnt it in a fire. I've ran so many litres of water through my various shemags. But in the winter time, the last thing you want to be doing is wetting any of your clothing. Yes, in a last-ditch effort you can run it through your shemag, but then when it comes time to sleep and effect and keep the core temperature regulated, the last thing you want to do is put on a wet shemag, and they do take a lot longer to dry out than people think. So something like this removes that. This is a heavy cotton canvas. It can be used as char cloth, and in the snow, which was a trick shown to me there recently, is absolutely fantastic. You can fill this up with snow, keep it close to the fire, put your cup underneath it, and it can be draining while you work. And in a survival situation or an emergency situation, that's a handy thing to do. You can fill it up from a lake, hang it in a tree, let it purify your water. You don't have to watch it, you don't have to build anything, and you can affect your other situations and continue on trying to make yourself comfortable outdoors. That is mainly the minimum I will carry when I go out. Even if it's only a day hike and I need to top up and stuff like that, I'll sediment it and I'll boil it, or I'll boil it on my cooker. But this saves an awful lot of hassle and isn't exactly going to break the bank. The last method I'll talk about, last two methods I'll talk about, is my Sawyer filter. This is a mechanical one, mechanical method of filtration. It uses hollow fibres. Uses hollow fibres, ran through a tube. If I'm going on a 3-week hike, or if I'm going to a place, say like a national park, where I can't affect fire, I'm not a fan of using chemical water purification things if I don't have to. So I'll carry one of these. Super light and very adaptable. There's more expensive ones, arguably more effective ones out there on the market for like the MSR bubble shot and the Catadine stuff. I can't afford them. It's the reason why I don't have them. I have the Sawyer. It's about $25, $30, and it's a very adaptable one. It has a universal UNF thread on the inside there. which you can, I've brought this on vacation with me to countries with less than good water sources, and you can screw it onto the top of any bottle that has those straight Coke, water, Volvic, Evian, these type of bottles. I also have an inline attachment which allows me to put it on the line of my Camelback, so I can fill my Camelback up with dirty water and I'm able to drink straight through this. It comes with these bags. I upgraded to a 2 litre one just because I can fill both bottles up in one go, my 1 litre stainless, my 1 litre plastic, in one shot. And once you have this method, fire isn't really a necessity, because you can drain your water through your Millbank bag or drain it through whatever you have at the time, and then you run it through your Sawyer, you're good to go. These will clog up on the longer trips even if you black fush them. All hollow fibre mechanical filters will, but a great investment, and again, not going to break the bank, and it's really, really light. The last thing I will use, and I use most of the time, is my gas cooker. I don't carry the Primus on me all the time. That's really more for hiking and it's only a new piece of equipment. But one thing I will always have on me is a gas cooker. Instant fire, this is a great one because it has an igniter on it, but stick it on top of a pot of gas and you can have boiled water in less than 3 minutes. It's a very underrated, very quick, very simple piece of kit. Whether you use a Trangia or some other system, it's exactly the same. Again, at the end of the day, you just want to be focusing on how can you remove sticks and dead sheep from your water so that you can boil it. Practicing your fire and having a vessel to contain it, even as something as my knee pad, a plastic bag that allows you to carry these things, vessels. But for somebody starting off, that's what I would recommend, is those 3 items there. 1 litre, steel, plastic, graduated, and a Millbank bag. And there's very little that you can't do with water if you got fire. Mechanical methods would be the Sawyer. Chemical methods would be your generic life tablets that you have around. You can carry a little bit of this. So there you go. Very simple, very quick. And as you can see from the 45-minute video that I did 2 years ago, a lot less than what I carry in the woods at the moment. So I hope that answers some questions. Happy Monday. I know it's bad weather here in Ireland, and I hope wherever you are, you're having a good time. As always, be safe outside. Make sure you do your reading and research when it comes to water purification. And be safe out there. Joe from Luton there.